was a life I could have known, one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that road could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wondered what would change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn because.
All right, good morning. You are tuned into 1100 WSGI, and this is Lee Marie in for U-Turn Laverne on One Street Over. I'm so glad you all have joined us, and I'm very glad that our special guest, Pamela Furr, is in the house. What an honor. Before we start, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Oh, Heavenly Father, we are so grateful. Thank you for all the blessings. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for taking this show exactly where you want it to go. Thank you for groups like Americans for Prosperity and for people like Pamela. We pray a special blessing on them. We love you. We praise you. We need you. In the mighty and matchless name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Good morning, Pamela.
Good morning.
You look fabulous.
It's all fake.
No.
I'm not quite awake yet. This is an early show, but good morning.
Oh, good morning. Well, thank you for coming in.
Sure.
And I was so excited because, I see that AFP is doing so much right now. And so I said, well, I got to have her in.
Oh, thank you.
So-
Yeah, we're doing a lot, and we're getting ready for the 2026 legislative season. So, yeah.
Now, I saw that we're not the only county that you're doing this special event in.
Oh, gosh, no. I think I counted it over the weekend. I think we're in 10 different areas across the state for what we're calling our legislative preview.
Okay.
And so we're making sure that lawmakers get the opportunity to talk to citizens about what is actually going on and what's on the agenda for 2026. So I think it's about
awesome.
10 different events. Yeah.
And it was so refreshing too that I got a piece in the mail. And I was like, first I thought it was a campaign, a mailer.
I don't want to
Yeah,
look at this.
exactly, because
Yeah.
it's like the same size and same colors and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? Is there an election now? And then I look, I'm like, oh, that's so cool that you guys mailed out on that.
Well, we want to make sure that everybody, voters get the opportunity to come and hear what's coming up because, any work that we do as Americans for Prosperity, any work that your legislators do, it's for you,
Or it should
me.
be.
Yeah. It's supposed to be. Yeah, exactly. I can only speak on behalf of AFE, and it's work to make Tennessee a better place to live. We have a great state. Let's just be honest. I think it's one of the greatest states in the union, right?
Amen.
But we have some things that we can do better, that we can tweak a little bit. And so that's what AFP is working to do with what we are calling our volunteer way, the volunteer way. And so anyway, it's important that lawmakers get in front of you guys to tell you guys what's on the agenda. So yeah, that's why we're doing this. Yeah.
Okay.
Legislative previews.
All right.
And we've got one coming up in Springfield.
Yes, please tell people about that.
So that's on Saturday. We're partnering with the GOP of Robertson County to actually do this. You guys have your monthly breakfast over at Purpose Life Church, and so we thought, well, why not just partner together to bring this legislative preview? So that's what we're doing. Saturday morning, doors will open at 8:00. The program will get started at 8:30. Breakfast is always free, but this time AFP is going to bring the breakfast. And so there will be coffee, there'll be juice, there'll be food, there'll be fun. And so we're partnering with, like I said, the Robertson County GOP. So it will be a GOP meeting, but then they'll get the meeting stuff done real quick, and then we'll get on to talking about what's ahead for 2026. So State Senator Carrie Roberts will be there, and Representative Doc Kumar will be there as well. And you should come. It's free. There's nothing that you have to do but bring your body and bring your empty stomach.
And maybe invite friends.
and invite friends.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah, everybody is welcome. We do ask that you RSVP. Go to the website afptn.events, and then you'll see all the events there. Just look for the one that's January the 3rd and register. That way I know how many eggs to bring, biscuits to bring, and that sort of thing. But that's why we ask you to do that.
So make sure you
get a
do
head
that.
count.
All right. Make sure and that's Americans for Prosperity. So it's AFPTN.org.
Events.
Oh, dot events.
Events.
Oh, okay, dot events.
Easier, it's,
okay.
I'm going to an event, so yeah, it's easier to remember that way. So,
Okay.
yeah.
AFPTN dot events. All right. Want to make sure y'all had that. All right. I know I already RSVP'd, so I'm okay.
Yes. We've got you. We got your husband, I think, too. And
Okay.
I got a lot of folks actually from Springfield.
All right.
Let me give my phone number too. You can always call me if you have any questions. I don't have that phone with me right at this moment, but when I get back to the house, I will have it. It's 615-308-7013, 615-308-7013.
All right. And where is Purpose Life?
Oh gosh, where is Purpose Life?
Let me look it up for you.
You had to ask.
Okay, 805 Memorial Boulevard.
That's right.
In
805
Springfield.
Memorial Boulevard in Springfield.
So pretty easy to find. The Stuart Williams Furniture Mattress Shop is right next to it.
Yeah, and you just come to the side door, right? You don't come right. You don't come to the front
right.
door.
They usually have it. I think it probably depends on how many RSVPs come in.
That's
So you
true.
might want to
That's a good
tell them how many you have
Yeah.
because I'm expecting a lot. I mean, I think it's really a great thing
Yeah, I
that you
think
guys
there'll
are
probably
doing.
be more people than normal, than a
Right.
normal Saturday breakfast. I hope so, because again, this is your opportunity to talk to your state senator and your representative about things that are important to you, but you also get to hear from them about what they're planning for 2026 and the volunteer way, which I hope we can get into here. 'Cause I'm here with you the
we
whole
will
hour,
definitely-
right?
Yes, I definitely want to hear about the volunteer way. Before we do that, though, because I know there's some people listening from Nashville and such, and do you have any of those other dates handy? Because I know that other counties are also
listening.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Let me.
that'd be
Here's
great.
what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to afptn.events and tell you about some other locations that we have. I
Plus,
know
some people might not be able to make it this Saturday, and so they could go to another.
I know another one that would be close actually to Robertson County is the one we've got coming up in Sumner County, and that is Monday the 5th. So it's a week from today at Jolly Ollie's, which is a great place for pizza. Pizza and wings, and I've done events there several times, and you just go upstairs. But that particular one,
What time does that one start?
that one
Monday?
will start at 6 p.m.
Okay, so 6 p.m. this Monday at Holly. What's it
A
called?
week from today at
from today.
Jolly Ollie's.
Jolly Ollie's.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And it's on New Shackle Island. No, I think it's New Shackle Island. Hold on. Let me get that address just to be on the stage. Yes, it's 82 New Shackle Island Road. You can RSVP again at afptn.events. But this particular one, the lawmakers that will be there are William Lambert, Johnny Garrett, and William Slater. They'll all be there to talk about the volunteer way and what's coming up in the 2026 legislative session. So
Nice. Nice.
yeah.
Very good.
So that's another one that's close by here. But again, we've got
you
events
got one like in
happening.
Cheatham area?
We have one in Cookville. We have one in Murfreesboro. We have one in Knoxville, Franklin, Jonesboro, Tennessee, which is northeast Tennessee, the northeast corner. Collegedale, which is probably closer to the Chattanooga area, and then one in Columbia. We are working on possibly doing 2 more, but those aren't set in stone, but we're looking to go towards the Wilson County area and the Dixon area.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, are you, because I do know we do have some people watching from other states, are you also doing some of these in other states?
That I cannot
Okay,
answer.
okay,
Yeah, I'm
all
sure that other
'Cause
AFP.
you guys are, how many states are you guys in?
Oh
Do
my
you know?
gosh! If you hadn't have asked, I could have told you.
That's okay.
But it's not all 50 states, but it's
Right.
pretty darn close.
Okay.
They
got the goal
we
to
are
get someone,
everywhere.
yeah.
Absolutely. So we're but there are Kentucky. There's a Kentucky chapter. There's an Alabama chapter. There's an Arkansas chapter. There's a North Carolina. So we're surrounded
Nice.
by AFP
That
organizations.
is
Yeah.
very, very cool. How long have you been with them?
Oh my gosh. In it will
Ish.
be 3 years in July. So it's two and a
Okay.
half years so far.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, that's how I met you, isn't
Uh-huh.
it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've known Laverne forever and a day
Mm-hmm.
because of our work in radio. But yeah, I thought that's how I met you,
Mm-hmm.
was through AFP. Yeah.
All right. So you want to talk about the volunteer way?
Sure.
All
I have
right.
I have a nice little those who are watching on social media and whatnot. I have a nice little agenda, and you can find the volunteer way actually at AFPTN.org. AFPTN.org is where you can find it if you want to look at it yourself. But we've got a lot of things on the agenda. If I can have that back.
Yes.
We've got a
I
lot.
can show it. Yeah, it's got a dog on it, so I give it a little extra time. I love dogs.
Of course, yeah. Well, that's UT and whatnot. Anyway, obviously, school choice was a huge issue for us, so we're looking to expand that program in 2026. It'll automatically go up by 5,000 scholarships, but we're looking to expand it even more. So that is one of the things. Thousands of students, as I think Springfield knows, in Robertson County, thousands of students were denied the opportunity to participate in the Education Freedom Scholarship because of the lottery-like nature of the whole thing. And so we want to make these families whole and ensure that the initial demand is met. We had 20,000 scholarships last year, and I think there was close to 40,000 people that wanted one. So, we need to expand it so that those families can be made whole. That's one of the things we're going to be working on for 2026. The Regulatory Freedom Act. Now, this is an interesting one. In other states, I think they've even called it the REINS Act. But what it does, it makes it easier to repeal all the red tape and bureaucracy that strain our economy here in the state of Tennessee. It simultaneously provides more legislative oversight to the most expensive, burdensome regulations. One of the examples that I like to use is COVID. During COVID, there was great power given to an unelected body called the Department of Health, right? They were the ones that decided whether or not we could move about the county or the state. And so because of that, there was millions of dollars in economic impact during COVID because we couldn't buy or sell good. We couldn't go to the grocery store like we wanted to. We couldn't go to restaurants like we wanted to. We couldn't go, I can go on and on and on down the list. Kids stayed home from school for what, a year? Almost a year and a half. And so that was all done by the health department. And they are an unelected body. Anyway, so the economic impact we're still suffering from even today. So what this would do is make sure that anything that had any kind of economic impact like that, it goes before someone that has been elected, not unelected bureaucrats. So that's the Regulatory Freedom Act. Have any questions?
No, I just I know that there's some other people that were talking about the education scholarship right now because isn't there the deadline coming up like in January or something?
It is. I was just trying to look that up. There is, yes. Let me find that information for you. But yes, there is that day. Here it is. In fact, hold on. Stand by, if you will. January the 13th. The application window opens again for new applications. Okay. Those who have already enjoyed an education freedom scholarship for their families, they were able to renew, and that.
Were they all able to renew?
Well, I don't know if they all got accepted. I'm sure they did, but that was December the 9th when that happened. That's when the window opened. And then January the 30th, the application window for all applications closes. So January the 13th for new applications. So if you were not able to get in last year, this is your opportunity to do so. So be ready to go.
Now, is it true that they've bumped up the amount for Tennessee that is going to be offered?
as far as money goes.
No, as far as the amount of
Fi-
scholarship.
well, it goes up 5,000
5,000
every year.
Oh,
right.
okay.
So,
All right.
So
as
there
long
will
as they're
be,
being used.
there
Whatever.
will be an extra 5,000 for the next school year,
Okay,
right?
okay.
But we, like I said, we want to expand that
Mm.
because even opening up 5,000 more scholarships, that doesn't cover the need. Because again, when you had 40,000 that wanted it last year, and only 20,000 were able to
20.
get. So if
Oh,
you're
wow.
increasing it to 25,000,
Yeah,
still,
it's
it's still
wow. So
below.
twice as many families applied that
Mhm.
got it.
Mhm.
Wow,
Mhm.
interesting. I did not know that
Yeah,
number.
yeah. And you had 10,000 had an income cap, and then you had 10,000 that did not.
Okay,
So
okay.
that was broken up evenly. So there are a lot of families that needed it, right?
Mhm.
That were unable to get it. So
Okay. So January 13th, new families that want to apply for
Yes.
those education scholarships, that is your deadline. And it's
that's when,
probably,
that's when the window opens.
oh, that's when the window
Yes,
opens.
That's when the window opens.
Okay.
You have-
Okay.
and all applications have to be in by January the 30th.
Okay. All right. And I imagine that it's going to probably close pretty fast before January 30th. Or are they leaving it open to the January 30th?
Yes.
You think?
the-
Oh, they
yes,
are.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, you
all
can
right.
apply until January 30th.
Okay. All right. But I would probably try to be one of the first ones in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
'Cause a lot of
there'll
those
be
things-
a waiting list, like there was last year.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, very interesting. So 5,000 will be open to new people this time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. Okay. What else?
Okay, so I mean, we have. Are you familiar with what's called the certificate of need?
No.
So, in account, if I understand it correctly, and mind you, I'm not the expert on certificate of needs here, but as I understand it, hospitals, have to provide information in a county to a board of directors that shows that there is a need for a hospital. And sometimes, if there is let me get this right. There are times that in a county you have one hospital, but you have a need for 2 or 3 more hospitals. But on the board that decides who gets to put up a hospital, you may have someone who has a conflict of interest on that board. So therefore, a certificate of need that you have to show, it really does yourself in. I'm not explaining this very well. Let me go to my piece of paper where it says more than $1 billion in funding for rural health care is on the line as the Trump administration has signaled that it wants to see con laws repealed across the board and will grant Tennessee these funds if lawmakers stand with the free market and President Trump. So I didn't know that. So, a hospital can be denied the ability to build in a rural county, and that does not bode well for capitalism. They have to show a need, if you will, and if that need isn't proven, then they can be denied the ability to open up a healthcare center or open up a hospital or that sort of thing. So, and there again, I'm not an expert on this, as you can tell as I'm bumbling through this, but we want to repeal that certificate of need so that competition can work in an area. So, does that make sense? I think
Yes, definitely.
was it in Clarksville recently or Montgomery County? They had wanted to build a new hospital for the longest time, and they kept getting denied. Eventually, I think this past year, they were able to get the permission to build a new facility. Well, Montgomery County's been growing by leaps and bounds, and so there certainly was a need for one, but because of these certificate of need processes.
Bureaucratic red tape.
Yeah,
Okay.
bureaucratic. That
is
is
probably
an
quite
understatement.
political as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, we want to get rid of that so that competition can thrive in these areas. And then, as I just said, there's funding coming from the federal government if we get rid of these these laws as well. So yeah, there you go. So that's the
That's
certificate
very
of need.
interesting.
Yeah. Mhm.
Wow.
I think it is. And again, if you come on Saturday, you can really do a deep dive here with your legislators because they have more of the information that I bumbled.
No worries,
They
no
could
worries.
actually explain this to you better than I can on the certificate of need. And I think it is certainly something that you should get more information on for sure.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
then the other thing that I know we all can get behind, and that's capping local property taxes. We want to do that. I mean, local government spending habits are out of control. I happen to live, for now, in Davidson County. And if there's ever an example of spending your tax dollars in an uncontrolled manner, that would be Davidson County and the Nashville area. So Tennessee is only one of 4 states in America without a state mandated cap on local property taxes. I didn't know that. So we think it's time to force local governments to live within their means,
Amen.
just like you and I have to do. So
Definitely.
at any rate, so that's what we're going to be working towards in the 2026 legislative session is capping those property taxes. In
Excellent.
Davidson County, was it 4 years ago they raised it 34%, and then they just raised it this year again.
Gosh.
And so that's ridiculous. It's
So you're
absolutely-
moving? You maybe moving to Robertson County?
I am not. I am moving to Williamson County.
Okay.
I will. I'm moving to Franklin. I figure if I'm going to pay those kind of property taxes, I might as well have the address. I might as well have the zip code.
There you go. Well, we're listening to Pamela Furr from Americans for Prosperity, and your official title?
I am a grassroots engagement director.
Grassroots engagement
I
director.
deal with folks like you who want to get involved and see.
And you are a nonpartisan group.
No, we are.
Oh, are you?
We are a conservative / libertarian group. We
Oh,
call
okay.
ourselves a conservatarian group.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. But technically, it's not part of any political party.
I guess technically you are correct. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. And I did want to let you all know of a funeral actually that has happened today. Jan Gammon, who was just a legend here in Robertson County, passed away over the Christmas holiday, and the services are actually today. So I wanted to make sure I get that out right now because it is in Portland, so it's a little bit of a drive. Sellers Funeral Home, 610 North Broadway in Portland, and that is going to be today. The visitation is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and the service will be at 2 p.m. Graveside will be immediately following in Pleasant Hill Cemetery in Orlinda. So again, our dear friend Jan Gammon, who has just touched so many lives here in Robertson County, passed away. She went to heaven. We know that she's in heaven. So please be praying, though, for all of her family and friends, especially today, as they do the service, that they have comfort and that they know where they're going. All right, back to Miss Pamela. So Americans for Prosperity is going to be doing a 2026 legislative preview. That's this Saturday, isn't it?
Coming this
Oh
Saturday.
my goodness,
yeah.
I'm glad I got you in today.
Yeah.
Yes. This coming Saturday, January 3rd. I keep thinking, oh, it's in January. Oh, yeah. Well, today's almost. Oh, today is
Yes.
December 29th, by the way. Happy birthday, brother Skip. One of my brothers is celebrating a birthday
Nice,
today.
nice.
But anyways, yes. So this coming Saturday, January 3rd at 8:30 a.m.
Correct. Well, doors will open at 8:00.
Okay.
But everything will get underway at 8:30.
Oh, great. Doors will open at
yeah.
8. So if you want to come and just chat with people,
And
come
eat.
on. There you go. The food will be ready at 8 also.
Yes.
Food will be ready at 8. All right.
Yeah, come on in, mingle, get your coffee, get your eggs.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. And that is going to be at Purpose Life Church in Springfield, 805 Memorial Boulevard. Pretty easy to find because if you look where all those U-Hauls are, which I didn't realize, but Stuart Williams is where you rent the U-Hauls for Springfield. You go in there because we had to rent one recently to move a piano.
Oh, nice.
Anyways, one last thing I do want to talk about before we meet the half-hour marker here is One Street Over is sponsored by Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. So When you need real estate services, you don't have to call a company in Nashville because Barry and Rebecca have been living in Robertson County for almost 30 years and they love this area. They know this area so well. They also know Kentucky very well as well. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or someone ready to sell your home or farm, Barry and Rebecca Richards can help you. So see the latest listings and start your search today with sellwithbecky.com. And of course, make sure you tell them that WSGI and U-Turn Laverne sent you. All right, we have a full half hour, so I'm super excited because you guys are just doing so much at Americans for Prosperity, and we really appreciate that because it's so impossible to just stay on top of all of this. You know,
It's a lot of stuff. It really is. But I mean, when you look at it, I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I joined the organization. It is a no-brainer to get involved with people who fight for freedom, fight to make sure that you and I can live with low taxes, you know what I mean, and low regulations. That's a no-brainer for me.
Right.
So I'm happy to be a part of the organization, and I like working with people anyway.
Right.
So as a grassroots director, that is my job to throw parties, get to know people, and then make sure that you know that you have a voice. And so one of the things we're also going to do, I'll just point this out too. We take people to the Capitol. I think have you been with us?
I haven't.
You haven't gone, but a lot
I
of
think
people.
Stephen went with you.
Yes, and quite a few folks from Springfield. In fact, I mean, I had a group of you guys from Springfield every time that we did a day on the Hill last year, and I would venture to say that that was very influential in helping get school choice passed for the state of Tennessee. You guys are so involved, and even though we did meet with State Senator Roberts and Representative Kumar, you guys wanted to meet with some of the other lawmakers that needed to be, kind of pushed a little bit to say, look, this is important for us. This is what Robertson County needs, so we need your help. And so, I mean, Springfield was very, very active. So I just want to thank you
that's good
guys
to
for that.
know.
So we're doing it again, February the 3rd, I believe is the date. It's a Tuesday, so we're going to do another day on the Hill. So if you want to come with us, we
right.
take you up there, we make appointments with lawmakers, and we have lunch. And we spend the day up there. Yeah.
Oh, now, will you be telling people about that this Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes,
You have a
and
signed-up sheet?
Yeah, and I'll give you an opportunity, to be able to
That's
register.
great because it's
for
so
that.
important and people need to know how that whole process works. And you're right. It's when you hear the term preaching to the choir, that means that, you don't always just want to preach to the choir because
Right.
you need to go into those other people who are
Yes.
on the other side to,
Yeah.
to show like, hey, this is important to me.
And there were some lawmakers that were like, look, our county, it doesn't matter to us. We don't need this. Yeah, but there are 98 other counties in Tennessee that do. And so, yes, it's very important to talk to them. And even though, picking up the phone and calling the office is not a bad thing to do, and sending emails, not a bad thing to do, or letters. I mean, we encourage people to do that and give you the opportunity to do that. But the truth of the matter is when you're face to face, especially in their offices, when you have taken the time out of your day, because we're conservatives, we work, right? So we have jobs. We have to take time off from our jobs to actually go up there and talk to our lawmakers. That's important, and I think most of them realize, that's when you are a citizen. If you're not a lobbyist group, you are a citizen that you've taken the time to come up there and speak to lawmakers. Most of them appreciate that. And so, February the 3rd is our day on the Hill.
Okay, well, that's good to
Love
know.
for you guys to join us. And yes, I'll have more information about that on
Very
Saturday.
cool. Yeah, because a lot of the legislators are used to seeing the lobbyists. We all know what they look like. But when like she said, we're taking a day off from work to be there and to say, hey, this matters to me. So you need to get more involved, and I hope that that's one of your New Year's resolutions, right out there. If you're thinking like, hey, I want to get more involved, this would be a great opportunity, a great jumping off point.
Absolutely. And so we would encourage you to do that. And we'll take you up there and it won't cost you a dime. You don't have to spend any of your own money. We'll take care of it. We'll feed you.
Okay, okay. Very good. All right. So, what else would you like to talk about? Because we do have about 25 minutes. We leave about 5 minutes
Well, I
for.
mean, what would you like to know?
Oh my goodness. Well, if people are wanting, like, I know that you do take volunteers, but like, do you have any like internship programs or anything like that? Because I know that there's
We
some
actually
students.
do.
Right? Okay.
Yes, we do. I should have brought the information with me. We do have an internship program where we will teach you how to be a lobbyist, how to be a politician, how to run for office, how to, well, a lot of those things that we would love to teach our young people. We're also getting more involved in college campuses and high schools and whatnot. Young Americans for Prosperity. And so, yes, we love pouring into our young people. I got to tell you, and I was listening to a podcast driving up here with Charlie Kirk. Obviously, we all know what happened there, and we have some young people that work with us that will also work with Turning Point USA, and it has been my privilege, I would say, for me to get to know some of those young people, and we've partnered with TPUSA organizations in Tennessee to do some events together and whatnot, and just to see those young people who are excited about America, right? Excited about God, excited about America, and excited about Tennessee and getting involved in politics in Tennessee just really warms my heart. I don't know about you, but
No, that's
and
great.
I feel like grandma now saying that, but yeah, it really does warm my heart to see that these young people don't want to sit on the sidelines anymore and realize that they can't sit on the sidelines or they're going to lose their country.
Right.
You know?
Now, did the internship program, is there a particular age requirement? Like, is that 18 or 16 or?
You have to be 18 and enrolled in, some college.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
And
this
do you
will be
get
for college credit?
okay? And I was going to ask if they got credit. Okay. Now, what about? Do you have any like maybe homeschool groups that come up for a day?
With the Education Freedom Scholarships, for whatever reason, the homeschool groups did not want to get involved in that. And so we work with homeschool groups. Yes, if you have a homeschool group that wants to come up to the for a day on the Hill with us to learn the process, we would welcome that.
All right.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
we're gonna. I have some friends on the homeschool groups, so I think I'm gonna put that in front of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if they want to see that process, or give me a call, maybe we can work up an extra one. Why not?
Okay. All right.
The sky is the limit.
Amen. So how many homeschoolers at once do you think? Like what would we have to cap it off at?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Again, sky's the limit.
Okay.
You just go for it. Tell me what you need.
All right. Great.
We'll
Hear
try
that?
to work it out.
So I'm on a couple of the homeschool groups, the Robertson County and the White House homeschool groups. So I'm going to put that out there because I think it's never too early to start seeing what the process is.
Right.
All about.
I agree with you.
And then too, when things come up that we really need to get up and lobby on as a citizen, then we're already familiar with the process. We're familiar with parking and
right.
the whole
Exactly. So yeah, just call me.
Okay, great.
We'll figure something
It'd
out.
be a great field trip. I know that some of the homeschoolers have come up to, TFA does the whole, Lobby on the Hill day once a year as well. And so the homeschoolers have started to come to that too.
Nice.
And
nice.
so, and it's good to show that it's not just one particular, demographic that's lobbying on things.
Correct.
It's families.
Correct. Well, and again, I mean, if we are a low tax organization, right? And so if you have more families that are paying less taxes, right, then that allows them to do more things with their families. So we're all about families at AFP Tennessee, of course.
Awesome.
Of course.
Very good. Very good. All right. Now, anything else on Americans for Prosperity before I ask some other questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So, because you have such an interesting background, so I wanted to hear a little bit about that because not everybody knows you.
Sure.
Okay.
What do you want to know?
So, how you got started in this whole in radio?
Radio.
And,
Yeah. So some people may or may not know I've been in radio pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
I don't want to say when I started because then,
That's okay.
well, I mean, then you'll know how
I'm
old
older
I
than you are.
am and all that. But no, I did start when I was 14.
Oh my! Wow.
And it's so funny. When I was driving here, I don't know how many people have seen this building, but this is typical hometown USA kind of radio station, right? It's not one of the big conglomerates and whatnot. And so when I started, the very first station I worked at was in a field with a big radio tower in the back, and it was just it was a trailer is what it was, you know? And so and it's during the days that it wasn't on computer. Like I don't know if you've ever shown the inside of your radio station, but it's basically you've got a desk and you've got a keyboard and you've got a board and some microphones, and that's it. Well, that wasn't the case when I got in. I mean, big, huge boards and knobs and anyway, it was pretty interesting. So I've been doing it for a very, very long time in various formats over the years, and then moved to Tennessee and got involved in radio in Nashville and did it for a very long time.
And is that where you met U-Turn Laverne?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, she was doing traffic and I was doing news and producing, and so I've known her for a really long time. I love radio. Radio's changed over the years, but I do love radio, and one of the things I love is just what you're doing here is when you have your small stations in your communities, that's where you get the community information. Does that make sense? Like what's going on in your community if you're listening to your community radio station. And you may have the high school football games or basketball games on or baseball or whatever, but those things that are important to your community.
Right. And we used to broadcast the football games, back in the day, and I would love to see more local programming. And also, I'm just so surprised too that how a lot of people still don't know about us, because I mean, it's such, especially if you're new to town, this is such a great way to get really just a whole lot of information.
You know what the businesses are because they're advertising with you. You know where to go to get your hardware, or you know where to go. I think real estate agent. You just did a commercial for a real estate company. If you need to sell your house, use the companies that are advertising.
And then, of course, if you need to know where to go, I do the Go Show every single Wednesday, and I go over a lot of things that are wonderful, family types of things to do. And there are endless.
I love that.
Yes.
The Go Show.
Yeah, so every Wednesday I do about half, events and half inspiration or education, But tune into that, guys, because I can't tell you, especially some people in my family and close circle of friends, that, they see my post about something I went to and they're like, well, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, oh, goodness. I know who's not listening to my show. I can't tell you everything. Like, I go over so much on the Go Show that you just need to. And, now, just a reminder, guys, not only are we live on 1100 a.m., but you can watch the show on Facebook or on YouTube or on the WSGI 1100.
Can I just tell you, I hate that.
Oh,
I hate it. I hate being on camera.
Oh,
I hate.
can tell you, they're beautiful.
Please, I hate it. But at any rate,
But anyway, and you can share this show, guys, and that is one way to get the word out. And just a reminder, Facebook does only keep the live feed up for 30 days. YouTube keeps it up for probably ever. So please share it, because that's one way that we can get the word out on this type of thing.
Sure. Absolutely. But so I have been in radio my entire life. So at my age, changing my career was pretty scary there for a minute. But after Phil Valentine passed away, if people don't know who that is, he was a legend in Tennessee radio. And he died of COVID. And it just was a shock to a lot of people. And I found myself, from a personal standpoint, just really angry about it, just really mad. I was mad at the world. I'd never seen hate come out like it did when he died. A lot of liberals celebrated, and that was really hard to deal with. So I needed to step back. I'm going. I can't deal with being angry at God over this, and I can't deal with people being so ugly. So I took a step back, and so I resigned. At doing daily news and just did freelance work and fill-in work and that sort of thing. And that's when AFP came along, and God opened the door for me to join this organization. and I'm glad I did. It's been a blessing in my life, very much so.
Now, speaking about organizations, can you talk a little bit about the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame?
I sure can. What do you want to know?
Well, are you still involved with it?
I am. I am now the vice president.
Okay.
So I was president of the organization for about 6 years. And as we talked about taking steps back, I needed to take a step back from being president because it's a lot of work. And being involved with AFP is also a lot of work. And so something had to give. So now our president is the former voice of the Vols, Bob Kessling, is a dear friend and is a lover of radio like I am and like our entire board of directors is. And so he is now president. I'm vice president for a little bit longer as we transition through all of this. Anyway, he's in charge now. Yeah.
And so what types of things do you do there?
Well, we try to preserve the history of radio in the state of Tennessee. What a lot of people don't know, and I think this is cool. Radio's changed over the years. It's not the same as it used to be, right? And most people that are 30 years old or younger aren't listening to the radio. It's just the way it is. They're listening to podcasts. Which is unfortunate in my opinion, but regardless, they're listening to podcasts. So when you have conglomerates that have purchased radio stations all over the country, so it's more corporate than it used to be, like we were talking about a few minutes ago. But in Tennessee, what makes Tennessee radio different than any other radio organizations in any other state in this country is that Tennessee radio actually created industries. For instance, country music started on a radio station in Bristol, Tennessee, right? The rhythm and blues started at a radio station in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where that phrase was coined. It was on WLAC 1510 WLAC in the 40s, in the 50s. That's where that started. Rock and roll. Where did it come from? A radio station in Memphis, Tennessee played Elvis Presley for the first time. It created industries. I think you could argue that Dave Ramsey is an industry within himself, right? I think you could argue Dolly Parton is an industry within herself. Where did they get started? Radio, Tennessee radio. Dolly Parton would take her little guitar and would go to the radio station in Knoxville, Tennessee and play her little tunes before she was anybody, before she knew anybody. Dave Ramsey got his start on a radio station in Nashville, Tennessee. He was doing his whole financial piece, which I don't think he called it at the time. It was a Sunday school class. Then it became a radio show. Then it became, I can go on and on. So Tennessee radio has a rich history that changed the world. And so that's why I was always excited about being a part of the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame.
Now, do they
Nobody else can say that.
That's awesome. Is there something like they have a facility to tour or any
We don't.
T-shirts or anything cool like that?
We do have T-shirts. You want a T-shirt?
I
can get you
do.
a T-shirt.
I do.
We do not have like a museum.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is, you and I as radio people, after what I just said, we get real excited about it. Majority of people don't get real excited about it. That's just the way that it is. So what we're working towards doing is partnering with other organizations to have a Tennessee radio display. So, for instance, if you ever go to the Musicians Hall of Fame, which is downtown in the Municipal Auditorium building, that round building downtown, in the Musicians Hall of Fame, there is a studio, a radio studio with old radio equipment
How fun.
that has been refabbed, right? So it all works, but it's equipment that we donated for that studio. You could go there and tour that and see what an old radio station looks like with the old turntables and the old cart machines. If you don't know what a cart machine is, it's a machine that plays these carts that look like 8 tracks. That's where your commercials would would be on those things. The big round knobs on the board. It's really cool, but it's been refabbed so that if you wanted to do a broadcast from that studio, you could. But if you want to see it, it's in the Musicians Hall of Fame.
What about the Country Music Hall of Fame?
So we're actually in talks with the Country Music Hall of Fame because there are a lot of people that are in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame that came from country music. Ralph Emery is the first one that comes to mind. You know, you've got Charlie Chase that's in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. I can go on and on down the list. Ralph Emery is probably the biggest name from a country music standpoint. Well, I mean, you've got Tennessee. Ernie Ford is in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. A lot of people don't realize he was a radio DJ many years ago. Anyway, so that's we're talking to them. We are trying to have conversations with the Tennessee State Museum about a display there. So that's
okay.
And at some point, we've been working on making our website like a virtual Hall of Fame. Does that make sense? And then you can partner with the Department of Education on the history of
Now, does your organization, does the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, do you guys go out and do some talks to some student
we haven't,
groups?
but we can.
Because Laverne's group would be a great,
It would
her
be
class.
a great one. Yes, it would.
She's teaching that.
I agree with you 100%. Yes. So we would be open to that. Yeah,
So
if anybody wants.
Another homeschool outing I can see as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Now, one thing I did want to make sure our listeners knew about, and I don't know if you know about this, do you know about January 1st through 31st at the Country Music Hall of Fame?
It's like free.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
So
cool.
if you are in the following counties, this is for you. Nashville, of course, Davidson, Cheatham, Robertson, Rutherford, Sumner, Williamson, and Wilson. So if you are in those neighboring counties, you, for the month of January, it's called Decide What to Pay, if anything. So you don't have to pay anything, or you could, do a little donation. So you, they are requiring, well, they're not requiring, but they're highly encouraging advance reservations, just so that they, can make sure that they can get everybody. But you have to bring proof of residency for each ticket. So your driver's license or your college ID, utility bill, whatever. And then it says local kids are always visit for free. But for the month of January, 1st through 31st, locals can pay what you want at the Country Music Hall of Fame. And I love it. We did go last January, my family.
Yeah.
And I was so amazed, to see the history because, it's not, and some people might go, well, I don't like country music. Well, do you like Elvis? Do you like rock and roll?
Right.
Because all of that got its roots in country. In the
Absolutely.
bluegrass and so much. So it's really educational. And I just recommend that everybody go because it's,
Yeah, absolutely. And then
how many floors is it? It's like many.
quite a few. And again, it's a local resource that we should all be visiting. You know what I love though about the downtown area? You also have the African American Music Museum. Now you've got the Christian Music Hall of Fame, I think is what it's called, a museum. It's brand spanking new.
Oh, wow.
And so it's downtown as well. So there's lots of things that you can see from that standpoint.
I'll have to write that down, see about getting them in here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you should.
All right. Because those of you that don't know, we did change our format not too long ago, where we're now called Good Old Gospel. So we don't have to play what a lot of the other contemporary Christian stations are playing because there's, certain requirements that you have to get, certain groups going. But we can play whatever we want. And so we are, and we're collecting a lot of local stuff. And so that's really fun, like Danny Crabtree. I love Danny Crabtree. He's the worship leader over at Lights Chapel in Greenbrier. And he is an amazing singer-songwriter, just amazing. And so John the Baptist song is one of my favorites. And when I drive along and I hear that, it's just like, this is so cool, But just in general, driving along, listening to 1100, it's like a flashback in time, And I love that, I mean, it's kind of funny because, U-Turn's called U-Turn Laverne, and my nickname was Retro Lee Marie. And I'm like, that's
Was
kinda
it really?
Yeah. So like that's kind of interesting because we're both kind of like going back, right? We both go back to
Going back to your roots.
Yeah, there's just certain things that you can't improve on,
Yeah.
and there's certain things that
Don't disagree. And getting back to the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, what I want to make sure that happens is that there's at least a resource where people don't forget. You know what I mean? And one of the privileges I've had in the time that I've served on the board of the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame is letting these broadcasters know that your work meant something and your work did have an impact, whether it was a station in Nashville or it was a little station in Springfield or it was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I think is important. Your work goes on.
And, we recently I had a conversation with Walter George, who was one of our original, I think he broadcasted the sports and a lot of other things too. And it was so much fun to hear the history, because we've been around a long time. And back in the day, like, 75 years ago, this was the station, for this whole area, and even down to into Nashville. So there is a lot of wonderful, rich history with WDBL and WSGI. Of course, WDBL came first, but yeah, it's so much fun, and I'd love to see more people just kind of like writing some histories on that. Like you said, to keep it alive.
Yeah. At least keep so that somebody can go back and look later and say, "Oh, wow, this station was here and left a mark on the community."
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who the owner is, but have the owner get in touch with me.
Okay.
We'll make sure we'll stay in touch about the Hall of Fame for sure.
Oh, very cool. And I do want to say hello to some listeners who are watching, or watchers who are listening or something. Paul Rainey, Linda Clement, Rebecca Pierce, Becky, and also Gary Rastelli. So thank you guys for commenting in our comment section. Remember, you guys can always go to the Facebook link and put in your comments or your questions, because we have about 7 minutes left. But we do want to make sure we tell them one more time about the big event this Saturday.
Yep, this Saturday. It is the 2026 legislative preview that's happening at Purpose Life Church on Memorial Boulevard. Did I get that right?
805 Memorial Boulevard, yes.
So Memorial Boulevard. Doors open at 8 o'clock. The event will begin at 8:30, but you can get there at 8. Go ahead and get your food and whatnot. Food is free. I know it's always free. We are partnering with the Robertson County GOP to do this. So it's their monthly breakfast. They've just, Christine is always so kind. And she's allowing us to partner with them at this breakfast. But yeah, the State Senator Kerry Roberts will be there, and Representative Doc Kumar will be there, and they will be discussing what's coming up in the legislative session. That starts in about 2 weeks. I think January the 14th is the day.
Okay.
So they'll be talking about what's on the agenda for that. And then AFP will be talking about what is on our agenda. We call it the Volunteer Way, the 2026 policy agenda. If you want to see all of that, you can just go to our website, afptn.org is our website, and just click on I'm not sure what to click on, but you'll find it. It's the Volunteer Way. And if you want to attend this event on Saturday, afptn.events. Very easy, afptn.events. It is free. We're asking you to register so we'll know how much food to buy, because I think this is going to be a very well-attended event. And so we don't want to run out of biscuits. You know what I mean? Don't want to run out of coffee. That would be the worst thing ever. So that's why we ask you to RSVP. But I'll be there. I don't know who else from AFP will be there. Probably either our State Director, Tori Venable, or our Deputy State Director, Michael Lotfi, will be there. And like I said, State Senator Roberts and State Representative Kumar will be there. Christine will be there from the Robertson County GOP, and you are invited to be there as well. And it'll be fun. I'm fun. So
yes, you are fun.
Come hang out with me.
Excellent. Very good information. And then if they want to see the other neighboring counties or whatever that are having, they can just go to the AF.
Yes, because we're
website.
doing, I believe it is 10 events across the state. So the next one that's nearby Robertson is the one in Sumner County at Jolly Ollie's on January the 5th. The information is at afptn.events. And I'll say, I forgot to bring up these statistics. Do we have time?
Yeah.
You're going to hear about how many millions of dollars we have actually, I think, over the years wasted, costing Tennessee's economy, families, businesses, while most lawmakers are left in the dark because of all the regulations that we have. Here's some numbers for you. 8,276,640 words unelected Tennessee bureaucrats have written into rules and regulations. Meanwhile, Michigan, home to ultra-liberal Governor Gretchen Whitmire, or Whitmer, or however she says her name, they only have 4 million words. So how is it that Tennessee, that's such a free state, much more so than Michigan, has that many regulations? 121,000. That's the number of individual rules and regulations that Tennessee's unelected bureaucrats have created. That's the whole point. So our big main focus on the volunteer way is the Regulatory Freedom Act, which we're hoping to get rid of all the red tape, get rid of most of the bureaucracy, and make things run a whole lot faster. Tennessee has the 24th worst regulatory environment in the country.
Ugh.
So liberal states like Minnesota, even with all the scandal they've got going on, rank better than Tennessee. So we got to change that. So that's what we, AFP, that's our main focus for 2026, is to pass the Regulatory Freedom Act and then to expand the Education Freedom Scholarships. Those are the two top tier things that we want to do this year.
Excellent. And, that just reminds me, I was doing an internship one time in a state senator's office. And there's one particular magazine had posted this list of like, oh, this is how efficient our, legislators are. And this particular legislator that I was interning with was way at the bottom. And I took that in the next day and I said, what's going on? They said, oh, you want to know how they grade this? They grade this on how many laws you have passed. And it's like, and he said, I do not. I'm for the opposite. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So you guys, you got to be careful when you're reading stuff when they say, oh, you're, so inefficient because you haven't passed enough laws. Like, that's baloney. We need less laws. We need, more local control, not, Big Brother adding.
Correct. Absolutely 100%. And especially, again, these unelected bureaucrats passing all these regulations, so you have to say regulations. They're not laws. It's the lawmakers that pass the laws. These guys pass regulations that stifle growth, that stifle people from being able to start new businesses, or their businesses, it stops them from thriving because they have to jump through this hoop here and this hoop there and this hoop over here, and it's crazy and ridiculous. And so that's something, if you are unelected, you have no business controlling what it is that I do. In my, what I mean?
Right.
You have no business.
And we're not saying, all regulations are bad and all that. We know that there's certain ones that are very important.
Sure.
But there has to be a realistic balance.
Yes.
And sometimes there's things that just make no sense. Matter of fact, there's regulations that actually have the opposite effect than what they, are supposed to do.
If you come on Saturday, you will see we have printed it out, the regulations. And they are books that will
Really?
stack to the ceiling. No joke.
Goodness.
And so we will have that with us, and we literally printed them out, right?
Wow.
And so it cost us quite a bit of money to do that, but you'll get an eyeball on it. Just me tossing out numbers. They're numbers. But when you actually see for yourself,
Wow, interesting.
all the regulations that Tennessee has, I think it will be eye-opening. So come on
I'm looking
Saturday,
forward
you'll
to
see
it.
it. Yeah.
All right, Saturday, the January 3rd, 8 o'clock, food and doors open, and then 8:30 our guest speakers start. Excellent. And you can meet Pamela.
You can meet me. You can see Christine. It's Apple, isn't it?
Yes, Apple.
My mind went blank there for a minute. You can see Christine Apple. So she is the head of the Robertson County GOP. You can find out what's going on with that organization as well, and then talk to your state senator and your state representative, which I think is important.
Well, we filled the hour, no problem.
Yeah.
I want to let you guys know it's a great time to make those New Year's resolutions. And yes, my husband Stephen is doing his stretching and body efficiency class this morning at 9 a.m. at Well in the Square, 600 South Main Street in Springfield. And yes, tomorrow I am doing my line dance class at 11 a.m. and also at 5:30 p.m. And then Cindy Norton, of course, has her resistance band class, 10:15 every Tuesday and Thursday. So go on Well in the Square, and I hope you guys will just, make a commitment to, be your best self this year. There's also a really cool Zoom program. I just joined this. It's going to start on January 13th. It's called Biblical Health Transformation with Jordan Rubin. And this is a free Zoom that you can join. It's 5 Tuesdays in a row starting January 13th, 7 p.m. Central. And so I have a link to that on my Facebook page on Lee Marie, and I believe also on the Well in the Square Facebook page. But I am going to be, is providing weather is okay, I'm going to be having that go live at Well in the Square. So you can either join your own Zoom, which probably be the safest thing to do just in case weather creeps up. But otherwise, you can come. I know Shannon and I are going to be there at Well in the Square watching this Zoom, because they're going to do about 45 minutes of teaching and then 15 minutes where they're going to be able to take questions from us. So check that out. Like I said, there's a link on my page, but we are out of time. Thank you, Pamela, for so much for coming in. And I look forward to seeing you this Saturday.
AFETN.events.
All right, there you go. You guys make sure you RSVP and tell a friend for sure. All right, guys, I will be back in here tomorrow and for the rest of the week, except for New Year's Day. We are not having a show on that day, but we had a lot of great guests last week. If you did not see Friday's show, make sure you watch it. Shannon Baumgartner was on and did an absolutely amazing job. So anyways, thank you so much, Pamela. This was an amazing session as well. And thank you for making the trek all the way out here. God bless you. All right. Y'all been listening to 1100 WSGI.
One street on